So I'm going to say welcome.
I think we are. I'm hoping we are. I'm
Welcome,
sure,
everybody.
Rona, that the Wizard of Oz, i.e. Steve, will tell us if we're not.
Okay. Fingers crossed. So I'm just going to be straight up and let you guys know that we are going to have so much fun tonight because we are doing the Quilters Thanksgiving. And Lisa and I thought that it was supposed to be next week instead of this week. So our preparation has been last minute, but still fantastic.
Rona.
Actually, it was my fault.
Well, we always have fun together. I'm not worried about it. I'm not stressed. It's going to be fabulous.
Of course, because it's us.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so do you want me to just like read this paragraph and then
you do you, sister? You do you. The main thing is it's episode 3. I think they're used to us by now.
Oh, I should hope so. Putting up with us. Okay, so this week, episode 3 of Quilt Babble, we are discussing the Quilters Thanksgiving. And this says our notes here. Most quilters are also great cooks and hospitable hosts, which is very true. Which means you as a quilter are not only busy making your handcrafted items for holiday gift giving season, but preparing for a big Thanksgiving meal and family fun. Who's excited for Thanksgiving this year? I don't have to cook, so I'm excited.
See, now I'm excited about the cook. I love to cook.
Okay, I usually do too, but this time we're all going to my parents, so I don't have to do it. Well, I have to make one dish. I can do that.
You couldn't cook if you wanted to. Your house is packed up.
That's true. Everything is packed up. Like, in fact, tonight we were going to have like things to share and showcase. And I told Lisa, all of my show and tells are in boxes.
It's what you get for packing up and leaving us.
Yeah, that's true. But we'll have some more stuff to share. If not next month, then definitely by January. So, okay. So tonight we would like to talk about the things that make your holiday season hopefully a little bit less stressful and ways to save money and the warmth of giving back. So, since you are definitely the owner and operator of the fabulous SewEndipitious quilt shop, why don't you kick off things talking about we're going to talk about like shopping local and
yeah, like absolutely. So like Rona said, I do own a local quilt shop, SewEndipitious, and we were talking about shopping local and supporting mom and pop shops, but not just in person and online. So the funny thing is, those of you that know my story know that I've been online for this January will be 5 years, but actually it was 4 years this past January, and brick and mortar now since January the 4th of this year. So I was one of those mom and pops online and now in person. And what I love about being a mom and pop shop is most communities now across the US always have those support local shops numerous times of the year, especially this time of year. And with that being said, when you support local, a lot of times you can get some really good deals. So the way to do support local obviously is check out your mom and pop shops, not your big box. I think you guys know what that means. And then pop-up shops. They don't have to be shops that are brick and mortar 365 days out of the year. It's a new thing, and maybe the voice of Oz will chime in, or Rona, you can chime in. Pop-up shops has only been happening, the past, I don't know, I'm always behind the times, past 2 or 3 years that they've been kind of hip.
Yeah.
Something like that, I think.
Years, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then one of the other ways to support local is like your craft fairs. These are a great way to still give a homemade gift, maybe not handcrafted by you, but handcrafted by someone local that saves you time. So for me, I do still work full time and I work way more than 40 hours. And I do love to give handcrafted gifts. But unfortunately, since I'm not retired, I don't always get the luxury to make everything that I want. So a way to have both, and this goes back to when Rona says less stress for the holiday season, is you can still give that handcrafted gift, but you didn't handcraft it. Rona, would you like to see some of the things I picked up from our holiday market this past weekend?
Yes, but really quickly, I just want to throw in one of the things that I like to do with craft fairs and craft markets, especially around this time of year, is if I'm going to be making something as a gift, like one year I made tote bags for everybody. So you can go to a craft fair and you can buy, like, they usually have like some handmade like goat soap and handmade lotions and all these kind of really cool things to throw in and make it, instead of just a bag, then you have like a gift basket that you can give people too.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I'm one of those people. Steve years ago got on this kick of making homemade soaps. And since then, I have not went back to the bath gel or any of that. I love homemade soaps, goat milk, goat milk, goat milk.
Oh, yes.
So good for the skin.
That's all I have a weakness for soap. I mean, it's all in a box right now, but I mean, I was a little embarrassed when I packed that box as to how much soap that I actually have.
Don't be, girl, don't be. So when Steve was into the soap making, and as he was kind of getting out of it, I literally hoarded his entire stock. And I have pretty much used it all. I think I have maybe 6 bars left, and I've been hiding them. I won't even use them because that is literally all of the Steve Baker soap, unless he gets inspired to jump on in there. But you're exactly correct about using a tote, or even like, this was a cool thing that I picked up this weekend. So it's a little rope basket. This one is really cute. It has a little sewing machine inside. So to gift this, you know, to someone that is a sewer that would appreciate it, you could easily fill this. I mean, chocolate, hello, everybody loves chocolate. But you can also, like you said, maybe pick up some soaps or candle, you know, and fill that out. There's definitely ways to make it happen and support all the different types of art, you know, artisans out there for sure. So I hope the person's not watching tonight, but every year I do a Secret Santa from another quilter. It's always someone I don't know. And part of it, God, I hope they're not watching. You have to have 4 homemade gifts, right? And it's 12 days of Christmas. I know somebody's going to be watching this. Anyway, this year I've been so busy that all 4 of my homemade gifts is going to be from one of the local ladies that have made. So those I cannot show on screen. I'm just saying. But it is a way that saves me time and does make this holiday less stressful. And that's what it's about. Now, I will show you something I did pick up for Steve. He's probably watching. He can close his eyes. I think he already knows, but he loves gnomes. So
my husband does too.
oh my gosh, so super cute. I was able to get this at the craft fair, and I'll be honest with you. So this goes back to, we talked about in this episode, we would talk about less stress, how to get things done, and also some money saving tips later on, right, Rona? Mm-hmm. So I lied to you not, I probably could not make this for what I paid for it when you count my time and my supplies. Another little cute, I had to buy this one for myself, but it's this little pink pine cone ornament. Fabulous. And I'm not even gonna lie, I mean, the price is still on it. $8. Do y'all see how many pieces of fabric?
Okay, I have made several ornaments, and I know how much goes into making those. That's awesome. And I'm telling you, if I would have seen that gnome ornament when I was there, I would have like fought you for it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I did not get this until late Saturday because I did not see it Friday and I did not see it Saturday morning. It was almost closing time. So I think it must have got moved around the table as she was selling down. So
Probably.
my brother got it. Sorry, Rona.
That means I'm going to have to make one now.
I know, right? That was so super cute. So where can we find these craft fairs? Like I said, we did one, at the shop, but also check your local guilds. A lot of times the quilt guilds will have craft fairs this time of year. Your churches will have their holiday bazaars.
Another place that you can look is farms, like here in the Carolinas and in the South. Local farms, a lot of them will have little craft fairs this time of year as well.
You are absolutely correct. And you can bake goods. Last year at the holidays, I didn't really have to bake that much because one of the church bazaars nearby, oh my gosh, some of the cakes, fabulous. So that in itself, ladies, helped this quilter have a good Thanksgiving because I didn't have to bake as much. So it was really great. Talking about supporting local and shopping our mom and pops, don't forget Etsy and similar websites like that. Rona, I'm sure you know some of those websites that really supports our mom and pop crafters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Etsy is a good one, but definitely with Etsy, over the last couple of years, Etsy has moved away. I mean, there's still a lot of handmade stuff on there,
Right.
but there's also a lot of stuff that's not handmade. So that's kind of hit and miss, I think. But definitely, I would keep an eye out for shops online that are. I'm trying to think of where it would be. Well, I'm not sure as far as like a local. I don't know that there's another local one that's like Etsy, but I do know.
Does Shopify, are they homemade?
No, Shopify is just an e-commerce platform. I don't think that it's necessarily shops, but like all the places that you follow on Facebook, like a lot of the Facebook groups.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of quilting groups and stuff like that. There's a lot of small businesses that are in those groups. So maybe pay attention to the different people that are in those groups. Also your local buy and sell pages for Facebook. Those have a lot of like local handmade sellers. People put up handmade stuff in there. And then I also actually just published today a blog post that is, I mean, it is a ton of stuff in there, and there's it's called the 2022 Quilters shopping guide. So it's basically a humongous list of a bunch of different items that crafters would like to get for Christmas. And it's got everything from, I mean, like custom stuff that you can have done like with their names or specific sayings, stuff like that, to gadgets, to the software, like quilting software, machines, stocking stuffers.
So this is a great link, you're saying, for us to share with our loved ones, kind of like our wish list?
Exactly. It basically is a giant quilter's wish list, but the best part of it is every single item has a link to where you can purchase them. So you can get, like I said, I've looked, some of them are on individual business websites, some of them are Amazon links, some of them are Etsy links, that sort of thing. So, but it literally runs the gambit. I mean, there's a link on there for these super cute little handmade earrings that are little spools of thread.
Oh, cool.
Custom wine glasses.
Blog post?
Yes, it's a blog post on my website. And I think Steve's going to post a link on the.
And go ahead and verbally tell us what's your website again.
RonaTheRibbiter.com, and the blog post, it should be at the bottom of the main page because I just posted it today. But it's the big 2022 Quilters shopping guide.
And guys, Steve did just post it down in the comment section of this Facebook Live, so you can get it there as well. Rona, your general website is
www.RonaTheRibbiter.com.
Oh
my gosh, Stefan just said, don't forget the fruitcake. Who doesn't love fruitcake?
I love fruitcake. Let's not say anything bad about the fruitcake. Love the fruitcake. That is so funny. Of course, Stefan would bring up fruitcake. And guys, for those of you who do not know who Stefan is Rona's husband. And y'all hear us talk Stephen, and that is my brother. There's too many STs going on around here.
Yeah, Stefan likes to pop in with some humorous commentary from time to time to keep everyone extra entertained.
Exactly. So thank you, Rona, for putting together that blog post with all of those links. I'm definitely going to check it out. I do love the fact that you were we were joking about this being a great way for you to find things that you want, that you can tell your loved ones as a quilter, hey, because they always ask you what you want, right? And with that being said, you can also direct them to your mom and pop shops that have some of your things, because gift certificates, because I know at SewEndipitious, we keep gift certificates year round. And so definitely. Rona, I think you told me today, speaking of gift certificates, I don't think you have them on your website, but didn't you tell me you have a big sale on your website? So speaking of putting it on your wish list.
I do. I also do have gift cards on my website as well that you can purchase. But yeah, so I guess we can announce it now.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, yeah, so it launched today, and this is my official announcement. It's not even going to be up on social media till tomorrow. But almost everything in my e-store right now, including all the books, patterns, the mugs, the kits, and the rulers, is all 20% off. No code needed or anything, is all 20% off. But the sale only runs between now and November 30th. So you got 2 weeks. All the t-shirts are on sale, and some of the sizes are a little limited. So I'm not sure how long those are going to stay or how long I'm going to have, because I'm not going to be able to reorder them until January. And of course, with us moving, if you haven't heard yet, my husband and I are moving up to the Midwest in Indiana, and our moving date is like the first part of December. So I'm not going to be able to do anything in December. So that's why November 30th is the cutoff date for the e-store. I'm going to have to shut it down for December. So I can make sure everybody gets their stuff out on time.
That is perfect. And we were talking about Steve putting a link for the blog in the comments. Guys, those of you that are out there that are mom and pop shops that do handcrafted items, please post your links down in the comments as well, because it's you that we want to support. It's you're supporting us by watching this video, and we want to promote you equally as well. So definitely in the comments below, type your links to your Etsy shop or your website, or like Rona said, some of you guys sell on Facebook, wherever you sell your stuff, please put it in there. If you're going to be at a craft fair soon, type the information in about the craft fair, because there's people that watch this Facebook Live all over the place. So don't think that it's not worth posting, because there's no one in Fort Mill, South Carolina watching this, or wherever.
Oh no, they're all over. Yeah.
They're
also,
all over the US.
You can also, if there are craft fairs or smaller quilt shows, things like that you're going to be involved in, definitely share them in the Traveling Quilters group as well, because we definitely like to know when different events are happening.
Absolutely. Okay, so Rona, let's move on to preparing for gift giving season.
I haven't done any.
Do what?
I haven't done any preparation whatsoever.
So I guess I should then say, instead of you saying it, the number one thing you got to do, guys, is pre-planning. Pre-planning is everything. I cannot say that enough. So when you're starting your pre-planning, and when I'm talking about that, I'm not talking your turkey dinner or all of that. We're talking about your crafted projects, right? So whatever your list, no bigger, how big or small, you want to make a list of who is on your list that's actually getting a homemade item this year. What time frame do you need to devote to get that handcrafted treasure completed for each person?
And shipped. Don't forget to add in shipping time too.
Exactly. Definitely shipping time. And then also, you've already figured out who Hopefully you figured out what, because you need to know the what so you can figure out the time. And then look at the cost. What is it actually going to cost you in time and money for supplies to make those items? You know, you see it all the time where we talk about people overspending when they go to the Black Friday sales and they just take credit card, boom, 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 boom. But the same thing can happen when you're handcrafting items, because let's be real, none of our crafts are cheap. No matter what the craft is. So, you know, it sounds kind of funny when you're looking at your Christmas list. And if you notice, I said, who is getting a handcrafted item? Rona, do you give everyone a handcrafted item? No.
I have like, there's like the core people that usually get, and then there's the wider, a little bit wider circle that gets like the baked stuff when I make Christmas candy and stuff like that.
Yes.
And then there's the widest circle that gets Christmas cards.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Rona came up with a list of some project ideas that we were kind of brainstorming about. Rona, do you want to talk about some of those items? The project ideas for some of these people?
It's funny because some of them I actually do have, like, I mean, I have them in my household that I could have shown you if they weren't all in boxes. But this one, and if I had thought about it ahead of time, which I just thought about it just now, I probably could have had pictures that I could like share my screen or something. Next time we can add that. Okay, so project ideas. Now these are the first of these. I actually have made these before, like in at Christmas, my core group that I make handmade stuff for. I basically, what I like to do is I pick one project that's pretty easy that I can do over and over again. And then I just do them in different fabrics for each person. So like bowl koozies, I don't know how you pronounce those. Those are really easy to make, and they're super quick, and you can make like a set of them, because you can make, I think, like 3 different sizes. And if you are not familiar, the bowl koozies, whatever, they're microwavable bowls. So you got to make sure to use Insulbright or 100% cotton, because it's going to go in the microwave. And let me tell you, I have like 4 of them that I kept here that I normally use because I use them all the time. So, and all of my family members that I have made them for also use them all the time. So that one's a really good one. Hot pads, those are kind of like a go-to. You can do them in like holiday themes. Those are a really easy one. Tote bags, I have a really great, I probably should have gotten the link for that too. I have a free pattern that's on my website, which is my favorite tote bag. And I made one for everybody one year, and it was fantastic. And a little funny story is I grew up in Washington State. So my school was always the University of Washington, go Huskies. And my sister was Wazoo, Washington State University, those Cougars over in the corner. So for hers, I ordered some of the Cougar fabric, the Wazoo fabric. And they sent me my school fabric. They sent me UW fabric instead. So I called. I got
hilarious.
Hysterically, and I called and I said, okay, this is the wrong fabric. I need Washington State University. And she said, oh, no problem. We'll get that out to you. Well, then they sent me Wisconsin.
Oh, hilarious. So did you harass your sister that her school does not exist?
Oh yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we had I had a lot of fun with that year. So, but tote bags, like a basic tote bag is a really good one too, because people can use them for, I mean, in the car, grocery bags, all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
Also, if you find quick patterns for like throw size quilts, you can do a basic like 9 square or 9 patch like this one here. You can do, there's all kinds of really quick patterns that are online. But
absolutely,
definitely look at the fabrics that you're using, and you can make it more personal to the person you're giving it to by the fabrics that you choose and the colors and the schemes and all that kind of stuff. Also, decoration pillows. My brother-in-law, he always sits in his chair with a pillow. So I like to make him pillows either every other year, mostly is about when he destroys the one that
right, he wears it out.
Pillows are great too. You can use up old blocks that you haven't used. You can use up scraps making pillows, and it doesn't even have to be super ornate unless you want to do like a fun embroidery pattern or something.
Right.
But pillows are always good, easy. Mug rugs are one of my favorites. I've done that too. Did you buy some mug rugs? Oh, look at that one. Mug rugs are fun. You could do so many
fun.
different things. You can give them one really special one. You can give them a set of 4. You can, all kinds of stuff. Aprons are really fun. I did
Yes.
aprons one year. Even planner covers. I've done that too, where you make just a basic cover for like a journal or something.
Yes.
Something like that. So there's tons of different things that you can do to, use up your scraps to give something that's personalized and something that's homemade and fun.
You was talking about the mug rug. So here's another one. Now just notice in the size, you can do whatever, this is kind of like a mini placemat, really. You can have your coffee and your donuts sitting on this easily versus here is just for your mug.
Oh, really quick too, that it's more like a placemat type size or kind of in between mug grip, but that gave me a good idea too. You can use places like, I think myfabricdesigns.com is one, and spoonflower.com is another one, where you can do personalized fabric. So you can even like write a special note or something, like if it's maybe you're a grandparent and you're making something for your grandchild, something like that. You could put a little, love note in there or something like that to make it even more personal.
Absolutely. One of my friends, I know she has used, what is it called?
Spoonflower.
Anyway, she had some fabric printed with pictures of their sheepdog on it. And when she got the fabric, she made pajama pants for her husband. And it was it was fabulous. But it was just the picture of the sheepdog just constantly, going down the fabric. It was great. And like you said, there's so many options that you could do with that for sure. So when Rona was talking about those bow cozies, guys, she mentioned about using, she pointed back to her quilt, was talking about using old scraps or, blocks that didn't make the cut for your quilt and making pillows and stuff like that. Those type of things was a great transition over into our next topic, which is obviously about saving money and time. So when you are doing the bow cozies, or when Rona was talking about the bow cozies, she mentioned basically everybody's getting one, right? And she's just changing up the fabric. So to conserve on time, especially for you new quilters out there that maybe are not aware of the magic of just productivity, just doing the same thing. Do what?
Chain piecing.
Absolutely. So when you have done one, and if it's the first time you've done a bow cozy, or it's the first time you've done a mug rug or whatever, do one all the way through. But that allows you to be exposed to each step, right? So then after that, and let's say we've got 6 people on our list that we want to give them bow cozies, you've picked the fabric, you've got everything prepped. Step 1, you do it for all 6. Step 2, then you do it for all 6. This will absolutely save you time. Anything you can make over and over and over. The next time you do it, it will be faster and faster. And Rona had mentioned earlier when I asked her, does everybody get a home crafted or handcrafted gift? And she's like, no. And I said, me either. And she was starting to talk about how she breaks her list down. I like to call some of them arm length. People that are at arm length don't get the quilt. Right? They just simply don't get the quilt. They don't even get a lap quilt. Let's be real. They may or may not even get a pillow, but they will get things, like maybe a mug rug or something that I can quote unquote mass produce, or it feels like I'm mass producing. For instance, if you are part of a sit and stitch group, there may be 8 ladies in that, or gentlemen, and you're going to have a holiday festival festivity luncheon or whatever, and everybody's supposed to bring a little something for each person. And of course the price point is supposed to be low, so if you were to sit down and you're thinking 8 people, you could really chuck out 8 mug rugs pretty quickly, versus 8 lap quilts or whatever. So Rona brought up another good point in the extra blocks with the pillows. I don't know about you, but Rona, I always have extra blocks that don't make the cut, or I've tried one and the colors wasn't what I wanted, so I changed up, which we won't even talk about you cutting a whole quilt and changing it up recently.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Rona does that, but you've basically already got half of the project done, right? And that's what I call recycling. So maybe when you have a quilt, you can save time in regards to you've already got things that are done, or you've saved an old quilt from an estate sale and you're like, it's so tattered, there's not much use left in it. I hate to say it, but you can cut those up and create other projects out of that. I've seen them been cut in blocks out of old quilts and been put on pillows, totes. I will show you a really cool thing. Now, this is not what I would make for a gift for someone that's arm length, but maybe somebody that you really love and want something cherished to go to. This is a junk journal. And I purchased this weekend for a gift for someone that's near and dear to me. For me, but I know you weren't expecting that, was you, Rona? So the cool thing is there's so much stuff in here. My point is that is recycled, right? I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's fabric and ribbons and lace. So everything has another life, right? That could be regifted. Have you ever done that, Rona, where you recycle something that needs to be saved? And
yeah, I've used, well, of course, like memory quilts. I've made tons of those, and those are always really good too. There was one though that I saw that was really cool. That so there was a grandmother whose granddaughter was learning to quilt. And so she had all these scraps that that she still had in her stash from various quilts that she had made over the years.
wow.
And so she put those together into like this little mini quilt with the story of all the quilts that they went into. So I thought that was really, really neat. Like if you actually hang on, I mean, some of us hang on to our scraps for a very long time.
Right.
Some of us, use them up, but that was kind of neat, like for, especially if there's really special projects that you've worked on or something like that, that might be kind of neat. Or even to put the scraps into a journal that says, this is, I learned how to do X with this fabric, or I made this quilt in memory of this person, or, something like that to kind of pass down to, because I mean, a lot of people will find quilts maybe in an attic or something like that, that a family member has made, and they have no idea the history of it. So that is kind of a fun project that you can do too, to kind of preserve the memory and share the information about the quilts that you make.
Absolutely, definitely. It's so funny. Tonight we've kind of been talking about the quick gifts, right? And that's because there's so much to do this time of year, and who doesn't want the quick ideal? And we're talking about preserving time and preserving money, but when you were saying that, it really reminds me of the heirloom quilts, and those in itself are absolutely priceless. So we all know, and if you're ever lucky enough to receive what I consider an heirloom quilt, that is a perfect gift. Guys, you quilters out there, you may have a quilt that you think is not up to par because it was your first quilt, or it was a quilt that's many years old that Grandma Sally did or whatever. See, I don't even want to cry, but those are the best gifts. If I was to receive anyone's, like even a friend, if Rona wrapped you up a gift of her very first quilt and there's 1,000,001 mistakes that you could see, that is so cherished. Like that is so cherished. But a family quilt.
Yeah, my mother actually does. She still has my very first quilt, and it is loaded with mistakes. I mean, horrible, but she won't let me fix it. So but she loves it. And you know what's funny? My favorite quilt that I have ever been given, and the one that means the most to me, was, so I have a cousin who is, well, she's my cousin's wife anyway, that learned to quilt within the last, I think, 10 years, something like that. Probably about the same time I did. But other than that, I'm really the only quilter besides my grandmother in my direct family. So my dad's mom was a quilter. And when she passed away, not that was last year, I think everybody was kind of going through, you go through like all of her things and what stays and passes down and all that. And I said, I just want something she made. I don't care what it is. I really don't. I don't care if it's a tea towel. I just want something that she made. And my uncle ended up giving me her quilted name badge for her guild.
Wow.
And that was the absolute best. I mean, I got goosebumps. That was the best gift that I could possibly have hoped for. So even the smallest thing can mean an incredible amount to someone.
Absolutely. So it's funny you mentioned that. One of my aunts, on my mom's side, there was like 13, 14 kids, right? And most of my mom's older sisters quilted, or at least sewed, or done some type of craft, whatever. And of course, my grandmother and great grandmother and all that. But anyway, my Aunt Pearl, she passed away several years ago, but she was always, no matter in her house, wherever she sit down, there was a project there that she was working on, whether she was hand quilting something, it didn't matter. There was always something. And so I had talked to my cousin, and I was like, if there's anything about Aunt Pearl's, I would love, to have. And I haven't done a video on them yet because it was just so emotional when I opened up the box. But not only did she send me like one thing that my Aunt Pearl done, but there was numerous in there. But I will tell you, out of all the items, my cousin Shirley Sue, she'd put a letter in there. So that was fabulous. A handwritten letter is a gift, people. Like, write a letter, write a card.
Yes.
It is a gift. But anyway, she enclosed a picture of my Aunt Pearl at her quilting rack.
Oh.
Exactly, Rona. Exactly. It was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, all the items meant so much because I could see her hand stitching. And one of the items in there was an apron. By the way, Rona, you mentioned aprons earlier.
Yep.
But the thing is, that picture, to set and see her sitting at that quilt rack, and that's something I crave and I wish. I can remember as a little kid, my grandmother and all my aunts sitting around a quilt rack and they're, hand quilting. And, by the time I was old enough to really participate in that, that event was no longer capable in my family. And that stuff you can't get back, guys. So those do make good gifts. Like, it doesn't have to be fresh made today is really the moral of the story, but passed down heirlooms. So that is a way to save money. That's what got us off on this track, save money and time. Check out what you have and recycle those things. So changing notes, God, I felt like that was so deep there for a second, but it is so fabulous, right? Quilters are deep because we take it from the heart, right? So I know you ladies and gentlemen out there, can appreciate that conversation for sure. But along the lines of saving money and time, a way to save money is, we talked before about pre-planning who was getting what and what you were making, and staying within a budget, that type of thing. Before you go out and find the supplies you need, check your stash. Yes, I'm a quilt owner that is telling you to check your stash. You probably won't hear many quilt owners say that, but guys, it is a great way to save you money during this time of year. Do you not agree, Rona? Like,
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yes. And you know what? It's funny going through your stash. Like I just started a project anyway, I started a new scrappy quilts. I'm doing my first collage. I've never actually made a collage quilt before, so I'm excited and having
right?
fun with it. And to do a collage, you get to like go shop your stash. And oh my gosh, going through the bins was just like, I mean, you're going through the memories of all the projects that you made with those fabrics. So yeah, it's a lot of fun actually digging through your stash.
It really is, because every time I go through my stash, I remember, like, maybe not exactly the quilt shop I picked the fabric up, but I can remember, oh, these fat quarters I got when I was in Florida, these I got in Virginia or whatever, or me and my mom was out shopping. And of course, we talked about this in episode 1 of the All Carolina Shop Hop, pick your buddy, right? And it's about the memories for the shop, for the hop, is who you're with and the memories you make. But when I go through my stash, Rona, I'm telling you, first it's like Christmas again, because I forgot half the fabric I bought. And then two, I do get to remember those moments. And so it's kind of like you get gifted as you're planning these projects, right? Because you get the gift of the memory. And I'm so thankful for that, right? It's what it's about.
Yeah, I think the other, like you were talking about saving money. One of the ways too is not just recycling your stash, but like I was talking about earlier with the memory quilts.
Right.
You can do that too. Like my foster mom, she's trying to, well, my foster dad has a lot of black t-shirts, t-shirts in general, a lot. So much so that he could wear one t-shirt, a different one every day, probably for a year. So
oh my
she's been trying to like sneak some away to send them to me so that I can turn them into a really neat quilt that I have a really great idea for a pet, because they're just plain black t-shirts. It's not like they're fancy, So he's astrology guy, astronomy astronomy guy, the stars, the sky. Yeah. So I was thinking about doing this really cool like nebula thing with embroidery. But that's a good way too, is like recycling not just your quilting fabric, but other fabrics as well. Like if maybe you have this old blanket, like a fleece blanket or something like that, that your child grew up with and dragged around everywhere, repurpose that into another little, pillow or something that they can snuggle up to. They have those really neat memory bear things you can make.
Yes.
Stuff like that. So there's all kinds of different ways that you can like save money just by repurposing things in your house.
Absolutely. When you were saying that, it reminded me of, those clear ornaments that you can buy. They're totally clear. I have seen ladies take the smidgenest scraps of fabric. Why are you laughing? Do you do this?
Watching comments, and Stefan just coincidentally talking about my foster dad. Coincidentally, he's a Libra and likes long walks on the beach.
He's a mess. We can't with Stefan. But the ornaments I'm talking about are clear, and you can stuff stuff down, down in it. And I seen a couple years ago where these ladies literally took the most thin scraps of fabric, because they didn't want to throw anything away, and they put those down in those ornaments and really made beautiful ornaments. So that's a great way, yet again, for those people that are arm length, they still get something homemade and you use up what you have, versus the cost of the ornament. Because I think those ornaments come 6 or 12 in a pack. They're not that expensive. You can get them at Hobby Lobby, I think. God forbid.
You got them at basically the box stores have them.
Yeah. And I know we're not trying to promote the box stores, but sometimes we need a little bit of what they got. So that is, definitely.
Ornaments are a really good project and gift. It's same thing for either arm's length or inner circle, depending on how ornate you go with them. But like one year I made these little, basically I took a stocking. If you've ever made a stocking for someone, take the same pattern without the, well, you can do a lining if you want, but shrink it down to where it's only about like, I don't know, 4 inches. And make it that way. And then what we did is I put little ribbon on it for to hang it, on your Christmas tree. And you can stuff it with like a candy cane, one of those little mini candy canes or something like that, or a fun little note, or maybe some Hershey Kisses or something fun in there.
Absolutely.
That's another fun one to do.
That is definitely a fun one. So ending out the night, we talk about quilters having a big heart and giving thanks and wanting to give back and stuff. So quilters are amazing. I don't know how they get done as much as they get done, but they do. So for you quilters out there that love to give back, or you're new to quilting and you love your craft so much, all year long, quilters give, not just during Thanksgiving. So some of the ways that Rona and I were talking about that quilters give back, definitely is making quilts or pillowcases or baby receiving blankets and donating those, to like the shelters for the homeless, Quilts of Valor quilts. Doing things for military that's overseas. There's always care package boxes that are going and a lot of homemade items going into that. And the elderly, not just food banks. Are you involved in any of those type things, Rona? Or as you're traveling, maybe I should say that, as you're traveling, do you hear of people talking about different projects and stuff that they're involved in, like Linus or Quilts for Kids or anything?
Oh, yeah, there's I've seen everything from people making quilts to donate to people donate to like the Red Cross, organizations like that for like disaster relief. There's people that will make a really neat detailed quilt and raffle it off, and then all the money gets donated to whatever organization. But also the like our guild or the Charlotte Guild anyway, donates to veterans, but they also donate to the NICU in the Children's Hospital. So all of the babies that are born premature and all of that, they all get little quilts and things like that. So yeah, there's all kinds of different organizations that you can donate to in one way or another.
Absolutely. And Rona brought up, if you're asking, hey, how can I get involved to, give back to the community and, something bigger than ourselves. She mentioned the Charlotte Guild. We have the same here in York County. We have a guild that is involved in numerous organizations that we, give to. So no matter where you're at, guys, if you're looking for a way to give back or seeing who's got what already organized, start with the local guilds. Churches, a lot of the churches, do have programs for accepting quilts or pillowcases, those pillows that you put the books in, for like foster kids. Emergency services, they're usually, often, let me say often, because everyone's different everywhere, but they'll often look for like homemade stuffed animals or homemade blankets. So unfortunately, if they do have to go rescue a child from an environment that's compromising to them, they do have something like that to give the child, to give them a little sense of comfort as, they're being taken from, point A to point B. Women's battered shelter, I know they will take quilts and that type of stuff. The men's homeless shelter, check with Quilts of Valor. We mentioned the Linus Project. Quilts for Kids, that is also a nationwide charity. There's so many, is my point.
And another good thing, if you don't have a lot of extra money or a lot of extra fabric to make quilts to donate, another thing that you can do is donate your time. there's a lot of groups out there that are teaching, like battered women's shelter, stuff like that. They're teaching women and young men and people to learning how to sew, learning how to make things so that they can get back on their feet. They have something that they can do for a career or a job to make an income. And so that's a really good one. Sometimes I'm not sure how many, but I've heard of schools that you could volunteer to do like a sewing class, or maybe an after school group to teach the kids how to sew, stuff like that. There's all kinds of things that you can do.
Community centers, I know they always take volunteers to help teach those classes. And also at the active senior living centers, they are always looking for volunteers to come in and quilt with the ladies, or teach the ladies, to quilt and that type of stuff. But where I thought you were heading a while ago, Rona, when you were saying, if you don't have a lot of money, blah, 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 time, I thought you were going to say, if you love to quilt, but maybe your income does not allow you to buy fabric and keep quilting. Most of these organizations, if they do have some type of project like this, some outreach project, they have fabric that has been donated to them that is given to the quilter to make the quilt and then return the quilt in. So there's tons of opportunity out there if funds is an issue, but you love to quilt. I know, like our guild, and I'm sure you guys are the same way, we have tons of fabric that has been donated to the guild that the ladies can come in and they, if they want to make a baby quilt or a toddler's quilt, they can come and pick really fun fabric. Springs here, they donate fabric often, and they have a lot of the Disney prints. So it's a way, like you said, if funds is low, but you love your craft and you want to give back, you can pick up that fabric and make those quilts.
You just reminded me, talking about the guild and the projects. Our guild is the same. Usually there's somebody, it's an actual chair that they put together the fabrics into kits. So all you got to do is take it home, put it together, bring it back. But another fun project that you can do to donate, but also it's a project you could gift to maybe a young child if you have one, or even an elderly family member, is fidget quilts. And fidget quilts, look those up online, fidget quilts, because you can use anything. We had a lady come to the guild not too long ago, and she talked all about fidget quilts. Oh my goodness, this woman, I mean, everything that you can imagine and stuff that you can't. I mean, she used wrappers from candy bars. She used all kinds, like even these little plastic, not the caps, but the plastic rings off of a plastic, like a soda bottle. She used those. I mean, you can do anything, ribbons, zippers, all kinds of stuff, things that are very tactile. And we donate them to a senior center because they're really good for like dementia patients, stuff like that. It activates the brain, and it's really, really good for them and keeping them active. So those are a lot of fun to do as well, the fidget quilts.
Absolutely. Right before the pandemic, the last outing I had was to the Charlotte quilt show. And on your own, it was the last outing. I'm telling you, it was such a fun, good day to go to. But they
literally shut down the country like the very next day after the show ended. We're talking, we got in right under the wire.
Absolutely. It was such a good day. Me and one of my quilty friends, we went to the quilt show, looked around, seen other quilt friends there, enjoyed it so much. Then we went out for an early dinner, and it was just a lovely day, only to be woke up the next morning by doom and gloom. But so when I was at the Charlotte Quilt show, there was tables that you guys had out front where you were selling stuff, and you all had some of those fidget blankets there. And as a neuro nurse that deals with Alzheimer's patients and dementia and all of that, that was absolutely fabulous. Those were some of the best fidget blankets I had ever seen. I went back to some of my neuro doctors and I was like, okay, guys, I know where we can get these. And so you guys did an amazing job. And one of the ladies out of the guild did tell me that you guys donate those. And I thought that was fabulous.
Yeah. I think like once a year or something like that, because the lady that spoke to the guild, she's actually a guild member. And I think it's like once a year, she does a big workshop where everybody comes and she brings a big bin of all of her stuff. And I'm telling you, she is proof that you can use absolutely anything in a quilt.
That goes back to that recycle that we were talking about earlier. And that would not be that expensive for someone to make, because they literally just fit on the lap. You know, it's not to keep them warm or anything like that. It really is to keep their mind occupied and stuff. So that is fabulous. So Rona, we have about 6 minutes left. I was hoping we could finish tonight with each one of us talking about what we're thankful for this year. And you've got so much going on in your life. I would love to, hear what you're thankful for. But real quick, Steve popped a message. He said, idea, starting a family holiday gathering tradition each year of making a quilt or crafting projects as a group. Oh my God, I love it. To build special holiday memories. Can also be used to pass down the skills or love of sewing and quilting in addition to the memories.
Sold. I think we're going to start that. Especially my granddaughter is 8 months old. This is her first Christmas. And oh yeah, we're definitely doing that. That's awesome.
She can contribute by you doing some fabric paint on her hand, and boom.
Yes.
That's her contributing to that particular craft project.
Exactly. And then I can embroider her name and the date.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Steve, you got us all going.
That's what we call Steve, the Wizard of Oz, for sure. He is amazing. That is a great idea. So Rona, tell me and everybody out there tonight, what are you thankful for in 2022?
You know what? I gotta say, 2021 was, in my business life, 2021 was a good year. But in my personal life, it was the worst year of my life. Well, just about, yeah. And so this year, I quite literally have turned a new leaf. That's not it. I'm looking at life through new eyes, I guess. And I quite literally am thankful for everything. I mean, I am so blessed this year. We're able to buy a new house, and the business is going gangbusters right now. Everything coming up is next year is just amazing. And I'm thankful for you guys coming into my life. You and Steve have been an incredible addition to my life, your inspiration and everything. And I mean, my husband, my family, my kids, my granddaughter, quite literally, I think everything is. Stefan just posted the Babble Wizard. That's what Steve is.
Oh, yes, he could be the Babble Wizard.
So was that sappy enough? I'm not sure.
I think that is fabulous, Rona, because I will tell you, I think a lot of people from the time of the pandemic coming into 2022, did start looking at life through different glasses, if you will, and myself included. When I cannot even start listing what I am thankful for, because I will start crying. You talk about sappy. I'm so thankful that I'm a workaholic. Those of you that know me, I'm a workaholic, and I have been really working very hard in the end of 2020 and 2022 to start, making priorities of the work that I do. There's work, and then there's work that you do. It kind of goes back to where you're putting your time and energy and the giving back. And this, opening up a brick and mortar quilt shop is been very different than anything I've ever done. And being blessed to be an RN, you wouldn't think that you could feel the blessings of God every day like you do in nursing. But in this quilt shop, I'm so thankful that the Lord has allowed me to meet these men and women and hear their stories and be a part of their journey. you mentioned earlier about memory quilts. I see a lot of that all day long, in the shop and stuff, but I'm just thankful for the people in my life, the love that they've shown, unconditional love. It's like you said, meeting, people like you that inspire me personally and professionally, and, physically being able to do this. My family, oh my God, I don't even know how they put up with me, but I'm so thankful for my family, my son and my grandbabies. Just, Rona, I'm like you, there's so much I am thankful for. You almost have to feel ashamed to be so blessed, but that's what God is, right?
No, I totally agree. Yeah. I completely,
Definitely.
yeah.
It's amazing. It's just like this Quilt Babble thing. I'm thankful for this because it gives a way for us to reach out. You're the traveling quilter, and your supporters are literally not just in the USA. You now have supporters that are global. And through social media, and we all know social media has its negatives, right? But I'm thankful for social media because we are able to babble on and share a little bit of us with the people that support us in our business. And it goes across boundaries. It's fabulous.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I really do sometimes worry that, well, it's not even sometimes, it's a lot. I worry that the amount of stuff that I'm doing is not enough. Like I want to do more, like for all the people that do follow me, that do read my newsletters when I put them out, and that do comment on and follow the Facebook, on social media,
Yeah.
all that stuff, that watch the YouTube channel. Like I'm constantly trying to think of new ways that I could do more stuff for you guys, and to kind of
Support.
make sure that your time is worth it, that you're giving your time to watch all the crazy stuff that I do. And I just want to make sure that it's worth it, and that you are getting your money's worth, so to speak.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I stress it every day. And that's why every morning the shop's open. I get on Facebook Live just to say good morning. Sometimes I may have something to babble on about, and sometimes it really is just me to say good morning. Woo woo.
Or aloha. Aloha to
Yeah.
Leslie from Hawaii. She commented on the Facebook Live in the Traveling Quilters group. So
Yay.
Watching from Hawaii.
There you go, from Hawaii. You just never know. But I'm thankful that we do have this time each month to connect with each other and everyone out there that does follow us. Now, Rona, if I remember correctly, you told me that we are going to be doing December's episode a little early. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we've been doing these the third Tuesday of every month. So, but December, because the third Tuesday, that's Christmas week. So we figured that we would do it the week before. So it'll be Tuesday, December 13th is going to be when we're going to do the next one. And I think that's going to be, what are we doing? Is it gift giving? Now
we are doing last minute.
Oh, that's right.
Gifts.
Yeah, that's right. Last minute quilting gifts. And I think I might throw in, I don't know, maybe like some of my favorite recipes or something fun. I don't know.
Ooh, yes. Maybe we could talk about some food. I'm all about that.
I mean, it will be Christmas time. So, that's, if the holidays are good for nothing else, it's definitely food.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, I appreciate you all for chiming in tonight. I hope that you have enjoyed Quilt Babble Live with Lisa and Rona, and you've figured out some pluses and weighed out your options of handcrafted gifts this year, time-wise and money saving for sure. And Rona, what's those links again that they need to check out? Your blog?
Oh yeah, Steve posted them on the main thing here, but it's RonaTheRibbiter.com is where you can find that latest post. It's the big 2022 Quilters shopping guide, was the big list that has all of the basically it's a giant quilters wish list, and it's got links to where you can find everything.
Love it. Absolutely. Rona, thanks for spending the night with me.
Of course, every time. I love spending time with you guys.
That's right. Guys, we'll see you later.
Bye.